Good night, good night, good night, everyone. Let me know if you guys are hearing me. I wanted to play a little music to come on, but we got feedback. Good night, everyone. How was everyone's holidays? Let me know in the chat. It is starting. Just want to make sure you guys are hearing me. I tried to put a little music, but it just didn't work. So I just heard a bunch of feedback. So I was like, I got scared for a second. But I still want to put some, vibes. So let's pretend I'm not here for a second. Let's try it again. Welcome to the 2024 January forecast. Do you guys hear that? Hopefully you guys can hear it on your side. Perfect. You guys hear the music, or am I jamming by myself? Are you guys hearing the music? Were you guys hearing that, or was I just like jamming by myself? Okay, so no, okay, fuck it. I just played a whole ass song, so you guys just saw me dancing with no music. So cool. Embarrassing. So welcome to another. I love how no one told me. Thanks, guys. Welcome to another episode on the Growth Project podcast. This is the Success with the Stars series. My name is Cherise. I am forever your host. So thank you guys. Welcome back here. You guys know why we're here. This is the January 2020 forecast that we're going to be doing. Today, Umi's going to take us through all signs as usual. And we're going to make sure as well that we get a little sneak peek into the beginning of the 2024. We're going to touch a little bit on the first quarter, the first 2 months of January to help everyone just with their goal setting, their goal planning, their resolutions. Make sure you're making the right resolutions, etc. So I know in the astrology community, we definitely see the new year around Aries season. And while that may be the case, we still are shifting into a new year, numerology wise as well. So we're still moving into 2024. So whether you guys want to see it as the new year or not, it's totally up to you. But we're still shifting into new energy, and January and February are still huge months that can either help you plan for what's coming in March and April, or help you set up and prepare for that time period, prepare for that new year. So thank you guys so much. I literally can't believe there was no sound, but
It was funny. So join me, everyone, in welcoming the one and only Umijenevieve, who's going to be doing our forecast here today. I'm going to be pulling her up.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
So I don't know if you saw like you saw me dancing with no music.
Yeah, I had texted you. I was like, no music.
Yeah, I was in the mood. I was playing Black Eyed Peas. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. So, you know, the beginning of that song is like so hype. It's like, let's get it started. Like, so I was just jamming, but whatever. Welcome to the amazing Umijenevieve. Thank you for being here today and doing our January 2024 forecast and giving us all this sneak peek into the beginning of the year. As always, so grateful to have you here on the platform and have you here sharing wisdom with us all the time.
Hello, everyone. As always, thank you so much for allowing me to be on the Growth Project, Cherise. Thank you for allowing me to showcase my work, showcase my gift. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that's always supporting me, the loyal followers, the loyal supporters, contributors. Thank you. We're back at it for January 2024 forecast.
I love that. So we're gonna get started. Thank you guys for putting your big three. Love to see. I'm seeing a lot of new names today. Like, I won't lie, I'm seeing a lot of new names today. Umi, let me know if you're seeing any new names because I feel like I'm seeing some OGs in the building. Hey, and I'm seeing a lot of new names.
I'm seeing Boohound Believer. That's new. So I know that's new. That's about it. That's the most I could see right now.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys always for joining, for all the OGs, for everyone who has been here with us from the very beginning. We are so grateful to have you. We're so grateful for your trust, for your loyalty, and for always showing up here. And to anybody that we have that's new, welcome to the gang, welcome to the tribe. Welcome to the Astro G's in the building. We're so happy to hear you. Yeah, I'm like, I see them. Shit, I'm like, I see some new names. Look at it. I'm like, I see some new names.
I didn't want to call out and be like, hey, I was here forever. What are you talking about? But I know Bullhound Healer I haven't seen before. But hey, Carla. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Risa.
Love that. Thank you guys for joining us. So let's already get started with the forecast. Actually, before we start, we have just two announcements to make, and then we are going to start. So first, welcome to Cap season. Okay, drop your Capricorn placement or house in the chat. But welcome to Cap season. We're going to start with just two announcements that we have to make. So first thing, you guys already know since last episode, we talked about the Patreon. We have something new coming when it comes to the Patreon. And we just really wanted to put it out here for anyone who may be wanting to join. So first things first, just making sure all my notes here make sense. Give me a second. I don't want to miss anything. So we're introducing the January marathon when it comes to Patreon. So what does that mean? That means for the next 4 Thursdays, we're going to be going live in Patreon, and we're going to be doing different rising signs. We're going to be doing all rising signs, but it's going to be split out between the next 4 Thursdays. We're going to be doing live forecasts for each sign. They're going to be going really in depth, and it's going to be it's going to encompass the first quarter of 2024. So it's going to be longer, it's going to be more in depth, and it's going to truly take you for all of those who's like the real new year is in March. Well, you're gonna have the end of your year, but it's gonna be these 3 months. So it's gonna be December, not December. Sorry, guys. January, February, and March. We're going to be doing the forecast for those 3 months. Okay. So every week for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be going live inside of Patreon. We'll be talking about super important dates for you guys for every single sign. We're going to be talking about launch periods. So if we have any like entrepreneur babes on here, or booze, or guys, or anything like that, and you have, or creatives, creators, healers, anyone who is even on the online space, if you guys have projects that you want to do and you want to know when is the right time to put it out, when is the right time to launch, we are going into a period where we're going to have no planets retrograde. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be doing Q&A. We're going to also be doing Q&A as well. So we're going to be taking your questions. And every single week, we're going to have one lucky member that is going to be chosen, and they're going to get their chart read live. Okay, so they're going to get a live reading of their chart. So this is going to be starting on January 4th, guys, and it's going to be ending 4 weeks after. I didn't take the end date. I think it's the 25th. But it's for the next 4 Thursdays. So this is going to be happening live inside of Patreon. So you guys want to make sure that you're getting into the Patreon. Currently, the Patreon tiers are discounted. So if you get into Patreon before January 4th, you are already getting, I think, up to 50% off all the tiers in Patreon. And on top of that, you will get your 40% off all sessions with Umi once you join the Patreon. So all of this, guys, is going to be ending on January 4th, which is next Thursday. So I just wanted to make sure that we took the time out to talk to you guys face-to-face about it. That way, if you have questions as well, we can answer it. So that's just one of the things coming for Patreon. Me and Umi have been talking about her direction in 2024, and there's just so much that she wants to give you guys, and just really go more in depth and use astrology in a practical way that you guys can use in your life, in your business, etc., in your career, and all of that is going to be really truly focused in Patreon. So truly, if there was a Patreon to be subscribed to, it would be this one. But I just wanted to put this out there. Next 4 weeks in January, we're going to be doing January Marathon. We're going to be breaking down each rising sign, 3 rising signs per week. We're doing the first quarter of the year for all signs, and every week, one lucky member will get a free live reading directly on the live. So that is the big announcement. And for the weeks to come, we're going to be telling you guys what's going to be coming for February, because it's going to be freaking awesome. Umi, I'm going to let you say anything if you have to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cherise. As always, thank you so much, Cherise, for even helping me learn, especially as a creative, iron this out, because I'm super fixed. So I'm just here to bring the art. So when you have someone that helps you bring it more practical, lined out, and digestible, I appreciate that. So thank you. Another thing I want to let you guys know is that I do have the 30% off on all sessions as well. So on both settings, that sale is as well till the 4th. So with Patreon and in sessions, both are till the 4th. Everything 30% off, 40% off. I'm going back to school, guys. I'm wrapping up school, going to the last quarter of getting my degree. So I got to scale back and also put my energy in ways and spaces that make more sense and that are just more valued. So we're on Patreon. We're on Patreon. We're always going to do these forecasts, these lives, but to get deeper in there and just more hands-on, I'm going into more space that is just more valuable. And where I can extend myself in a more valuable way. And I'd appreciate all of you. Thank you all to all of you.
Tell the people what you're going back to school for the new people.
For the new people, I want to go into a medical degree. So I want to go become a doctor, guys. I want to go take on more of an alternative medicine, so naturopathy. So that's why I want to go to. So just more of a holistic route. I want to also see how I could bring this into camps, schools, boys and girls programs, hospital settings, but more in a psychological way. So more of that. I just want to see where Astro could take me. I'm just doing this because I'm going into my cardinal. So anyone who's cardinal, knows that sometimes you need a degree or you need a title to really define your space. But you know that fixed energy is always going to let you, always going to make sure you stay creative. So this is just another route to get me more aligned, practical. A PhD matters. It's like, ooh. So yes.
I love that. And honestly, I can't wait. Like, I can't wait to see how you're gonna blend that with astrology as well, and with all the other like spiritual and esoteric modalities and practices that you know. Because I would totally love to have a doctor or a medical professional who understood astrology and just be like, I think that would be so cool to be able to converse with my doctor and then them bring up my chart, like both charts. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. And I can't wait for us to enter into that world. So congratulations for that. And I know that we talked a little bit already about like when Umi's going to be learning and making all of these connections. She is going to be putting them in Patreon. So this is the first place that is going to see those new connections that she's going to be making when she's studying and going to school and learning. So if you guys ever needed another reason to be in there. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started with the forecast, January 2024. Big freaking month. I'm going to pull up the dates on the screen. Perfect. So tell us just in general, talk to us overall about the feel of the month of January. What is January giving overall?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. So January, cardinal energy, very important for cardinals. So this is a month, and just like every year, for January, New Year's resolutions, hustle and bustle, gotta get things going, new things comes within the government or within grants, loans, those spaces, new year, new vibe. It's a 10th house energy, so it's a lot of January can open up just spaces where people feel like they can start doing their 5-year goals, 10-year goals. It's coming from a mutable energy, Sagittarius. So that's even opening up where we need to start changing, having new perspectives, wanting to see new horizons. So January always opens up cardinal. And it's always an important time for cardinals. This year, definitely important for Aries, Libras, Cancer, Capricorns, especially since we're in the last leg of Pluto being in Capricorn. So important for the cardinals in graduating, getting certified, coming into spaces of new beginnings, new positions, growing up, maturity points. So really important for the cardinals. They could have already been planning for, many people can have already been planning for January since October, and why this would bring such new changes. And we're in the last leg, so it's really important for the Capricorn and Cancer placements in January for them to look back at what started in 2008 to 12 and what they're finishing up, what's a long time coming for now as well, this transit. I also want to say that,
Go ahead.
I also want to center that since we're in a last energy of Saturn, since we're in the energy of Saturn being at its last leg, coming into an energy that is really big on generation. So example, when Saturn came into Aquarius, Saturn came into Capricorn, and how that was a big shift for generations, and maybe even looking like we purge a generation. Now, when Saturn moved into Aquarius, a lot of the boomers had transitioned. As we come into Pluto, come into Aquarius, it'll be another time where the elders in the old age are sensitive to this transit, especially the boomers. So this could be another time of a major passing transition period of the boomer generation, Pluto and Leo, for this year. So January does open up a nostalgic energy as well for the year, a start off, since Pluto's here as well, where we might even see in a lot of political figures, public figures, come into their last leg in their own life. So January does open in nostalgia.
I was going to ask, how do you, with all of the transits that's going on in January, how do you see that affecting us, like on a collective level, or even just like political, socio-economical? Like, how do you see this playing out maybe out there in the real world? What are some of the changes or some of the things that can come that could really point towards these transits? Whether it be like Pluto going into Aquarius or which is the big one. You're muted.
Pluto with Aquarius, definitely. That opens up more of that resource, the resource talks. Also with Pluto coming into Aquarius, it goes back to where we need to talk about international laws, international issues. It's gonna come into the basis, but it's even prior to that. So even that comes into more of the funding. But where we're really gonna see the political push is when Sun, so the Capricorn energy. So I'm looking for Capricorn. We have an energy, Sun in Capricorn, Sun conjunct, Sun and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn. There's energy there. I just want to make sure that pops up. I'm going to show you what date it is. So around the 20th, Sun conjunct Pluto in Capricorn at late degrees, and then it moves into Aquarius. So at critical degrees. So starting the week of the 18th, 19th into 20th, there's going to be a lot of political talks. We're going to go back to October because now this is an energy of Sun conjunct Pluto. So we're going to go back to the last time Sun aspected Pluto. October, Sun square Pluto. October, we were talking about the Palestinian, the energy of just Haiti and Dominican Republic, just the overall basis of what side are we on. We're back here in January, but mid-January. We're going to go back to another time where Sun aspected Pluto. July, Cancer Sun square opposed Pluto. So July was another political time as well. And as we come into mid-January, we're going to have another basis of where we reflect back to October, July, and what those political talks were about. And that week becomes important. It could even be a week where just a lot of public figure news, celebrity news, politic news, laws. So if you're into stock and you want to see like when things are going to jump, the week of the mid, around the 20th of January, so the teens of January, start to see the currents become volatile because it becomes a very political week.
I have to just note that really quickly. That's funny.
So things are going to jump, go down. And you know, as soon as there's a political crisis, stock either goes up or goes down drastically. And that's just a week there, especially as we move into such a stock investment sign, Aquarius.
That's good. I'm gonna be checking for that for sure. So let's break down some of the most important transits of the month, or anything that kind of catches your eye. What would you say would be one of the most important transits of the month, or do you want us to go a little bit in order?
I'll just pull some out. That could work too. So Mercury, so just even the 1st of January. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Mercury turning direct on the 1st. Yeah.
So just even the 1st, and even a few days before that, Jupiter going direct in Taurus. So just that week from the 30th to the 1st, just very important for the fixed energy with Jupiter going direct, and just where the fixed energy needs to really focus on where do I need to find a bigger perspective, and how I attain resources, how I find a sense of security. The fixed energies really need to work on trust. And towards the end of this month, it's going to ask conversations and maybe even certain types of disagreements, and just basis of where we need to talk about what makes us feel comfortable for fixed. Now, as we move into the first week of January, January 1st, Mercury goes direct in Sag. Now, that's important for this basis there because it does open up this last 2 weeks since December 23rd, where Sag energy, and it also was retrograde in Capricorn. So Sagittarius and Capricorn, where they can feel a little clumsy, indecisive. really trying to figure out where they need a little advisement since the 23rd. So a little bit before Christmas. Or just could have opened that up. And why even coming into January? So even now, we're getting a little bit more clearer with our thoughts, with our decisions as we walk into January 1st. So that's just going to be important, especially for Capricorn and Sagittarius placements for the last 2 weeks. Now, many of you could have went and got sessions, got advisement somewhere, needed to really talk to people, really sit down and just communicate more clearly for the last 2 weeks. And it's starting to clear out now as we move into January 1st. So that's just an important transit with January 1st. And just for everyone in general, where it just opens up clear communication and being open-minded.
Mm-hmm. Do you see like any spiritual significance with like Mercury going direct on the first day of the year?
What comes to my mind right now, and it may be like so, is the on TikTok where everyone's talking about they're gonna do the grapes and the 12 grapes for 12 months. And I think everyone's in a place right now where we want some way out, like we want a better, higher thinking. And also everywhere I turn now, astrology and metaphysical is like in everyday news, everyday interaction, commercials. So we're coming into this new year in a way where we have to be more open-minded as a collective. We have to be okay with diverse cultures, even with Mercury going direct in Sag, where a lot of people right now can feel like they want to live overseas. They want to move to other countries. They want to leave their hometown, their natural home birth area to now a completely different territory. We're becoming more integrated. We're even with the last few months of where we're trying to learn each other's foods, last few years, like since the pandemic energy and Saturn being in Aquarius, where we want to know so much about each other's worlds. And it's just a pre-period of a great migration going to happen. This could be for the mutables, especially the Sagittarius, the Piscean energies, the Jupiter energies that really want to open up their horizons, live in places they have dreamed of, go places they've dreamed of. So that's a big push.
You talked about I remember you talked about the big migration part too. I don't know if it was the last time or a time before. Do you feel like Jupiter coming into Gemini is going to support this? Or do you think that, like, do we have to wait? Is there another transit that you feel would really push this forward?
Definitely with Jupiter coming into Gemini. We also have Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. So that's even opening up more of the expand your horizons, go over waters. Jupiter in Gemini is the push where it could open up more of people taking initiative. Putting your mind where your mouth is, you're putting your mind where your action is. That basis there now pushes that into that. Because since we're in a Jupiter and Taurus right now, it's more of what can we afford? How can we afford to get this? What do we have? Now Gemini energy is seeking. There's a curiosity behind this. This could even mean, this is also part of where the migration opens up for others, where other people are leaving their homeland. And that's been happening just throughout the year silently, where the borders are being opened widely in certain types of countries for refugees. Around this time, it could become more news, more obvious. Maybe it's more televised. Big push. And it's also a pre-shadow period for when Uranus comes into Gemini.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. I was like, do we have to wait for Uranus to go into Gemini, or will like Jupiter and Gemini kind of like already started?
Since this transit is squaring, I'm just telling mutables, you're gonna move regardless in late 2025 to 26. So extend your rental right now. Maybe look at a rental option or a short-term option for now, since there's another big push during that period.
25, 26, you said?
with Uranus coming in. So 26 centering that with Uranus coming into Gemini. Just like when North Node was in Gemini. So 2020, 2021, a lot of people were like, we're out of here.
So let's just touch a little bit on the new moons and full moons of this month. So we have a new moon in Capricorn, 20 degrees. That same day, we have Mars in Capricorn, trining Jupiter in Taurus, and Mercury enters Capricorn. So this new moon is being supported a little bit with some sweet aspects. And then also we're having a mini stellium happening in Capricorn. So how is that going to affect us? Or if you can just say, maybe even break it down by the different modalities.
With the new moon energy, new beginnings. It's the basis of new mindsets, taking new initiatives, always within these themes of new moon. Now, it'll center the cardinals. So we got to get to the specifics. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, and how we're starting new beginnings, but Saturn is still the past. So it's more a long time coming. Like, finally, I'm done with this type of feeling with this moon. Where since I've had to go into and since Pluto is still in Aquarius, Pluto is still in Capricorn at this time, it's centering those years, 2008 to 2012. And why we're now finally done that now coming into this feeling, it's new. We're done with this past feeling that makes us feel anew. That's the basis there with this new moon, because Pluto is still an energy that's about and Capricorn past our generation, and also when it first aspected 2008. So really for this new moon, it's more of reflecting on how time makes us new, time changes the past, how we reflect on how we are new to our past. Also for Capricorn and Cancer energies, they could be coming home, returning home at this moment. Having to come back into the nesting period, and how they're a new being and have to be treated new since they're back in some way. It's a new feeling and something nostalgic.
A new feeling and something nostalgic. That's pretty particular. But I like that.
I've been here before. It's like a deja vu.
I like that. I really like that.
Cardinals, especially Cancer and Capricorns, can be feeling. So those basis is for the new moon. Now that's going to sit in there, since the energy is in Capricorn, that's going to sit on the Capricorn energy, Libra, Aries, and Cancer in the angular energy. If we're in fixed, it's going to sit in their cadent houses. So fixed energy, so fixed. Yep, they're cadent houses. So with the cadent houses for fixed, really for right now, they're trying to take more objective in how they process their minds with this new moon, how they're too hard on themselves, fixed energy. Like we're too hard on ourselves mentally. Where do we feel like we're not good enough? Where do we feel like we never put in enough work in within the fixed energy? Because that's what cadent houses ask you. How are you making this a routine that's healthy for you? A mental routine, a physical routine that is in a healthy manner. How are you communicating these things? And the new moon energy wants you to open up a new way and just putting your foot down, because that's what Cardinal's all about. Like, you got to respect me. And this is where fixed signs need to sit in their what they say, how they process things, and how they need to have more just self-respect. And that's what Cardinals energy is all about, self-respect in these spaces. But in cadent houses, it's all about the boundaries and routines. So where is the burnout that fixed signs can be feeling, especially since June? Also with mutable houses. Mutable houses, this energy will sit in your immutable energy in your succeeding houses. So your second house. So second house basis. So for mutable, it's especially since Saturn is in Pisces, we're still figuring out our home base, what we can afford in home. Do we want to invest in home or environment? Like, we're still, are we coming or going? Because mutables are in a transit of wanderlust in some capacity. So this new moon is asking the mutable energies, is it worth investing here if I'm staying, if I don't know if I'm staying here? For mutables. And just at least making an investment for that season, for how long you can actually plan it out, because Cardinal still wants you to plan. Since it's in a house where it's like, I don't know if I'm staying, since we're in transits where I don't know if I'm staying or going, let's at least plan out for what we know now or what we can afford now.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm just checking the chat right now. Okay. What about, so we have a full moon in Leo, 5 degrees. Towards the end of the month as well, seems pretty heavy. So we have a lot going on. So just January 20th alone, we have Sun entering Aquarius, like you said, and then we have Pluto entering Aquarius, and they'll conjunct. Then we'll have the full moon in Leo as well. Then yeah, we have a lot going on towards the end of the month. So Uranus stations direct. There's a lot going on. So how do you see the end of the month playing out to what you just said for most of the signs, for the different modalities? Because first we were talking a little bit about the Capricorn energy, but then we're going to be shifting a little bit towards the Aquarius energy.
Now, since September, when Venus went direct in Leo, and Jupiter went retrograde in Taurus, the fixed placements have been waiting for contracts, maybe have been laid off, had to reconsider work. Just looking at basis on, do I need another gig? Where is my portfolio? Now, for the Leo and Aquariuses, this becomes an important time because they're now waiting for either emails, they're waiting for letters of acknowledgement. They're waiting for just a space of contract, gig work, internship. And around the end of January, after January 20th, you guys should start receiving messages, emails, the acknowledgement of these things. Some of you are looking for jobs where you can get better benefits, more of your long-term investments. And even with fixed placements, this is a time where you could look at group economics, life insurance policies, will, CDs, trusts, and even looking for entrepreneur. So the entrepreneurial fixed signs, especially Aquarius, Scorpio energy can do well with you, where you guys can get grants, loans, and just more initiative in those spaces for your creative ventures. But Leo and Aquarius are waiting for letters of acknowledgement, contracts, proposals. In January, around January 20th, becomes very important for you guys to hear these good news. I just want to see if any Leo or Aquarius are just waiting for some sort of application that they put in. And especially since the last time Pluto aspected in this way, since October, November, if you guys have put in applications in, especially since it was tricky or could have felt tricky, late August to early September when it came to stability.
So I'm in a household with an Aquarius rising, an Aquarius dominant, and I can definitely say that there's truth to that. So just like waiting for applications that has been sent like this month, past month, etc. So let's see if anyone in the chat says anything. Is the chat frozen, or are you guys super quiet tonight? By the way, someone said hey. I'm gonna put it up here for you. Someone said hey.
Hey, Jeff. That's my brother.
Someone said yes, August was rough. I learned my job could end at any moment. Someone said yes, Leo rising, this is true. Okay, yeah, so we're getting confirmation. Aqua, Leo moon, currently enrolled in culinary school. Not sure where my future is headed as I wait out this new experience. Absolutely. Okay, confirmations. Just let me know if you want to say anything towards that, Umi, before I continue.
So even where it sits, sitting in where it sits for cardinals, mutables, I already spoke about fixed. So for cardinals, this would sit in their succeeding house, their second house, fifth house, second house, fifth house, eighth house, 11th house. So this is the energy now. Again, cardinals are coming into new positions, new titles. So this placement acts about negotiating pay, really putting a price on your worth, not being afraid to show your fruits of labor, enjoy, put a price on the fruits of your labor, be intentional on the fruits of your labor. So around this time, this could be a time where some of you are coming into anniversary periods at work, raises at work, a time to reevaluate what I do and what I should be afforded. And for the cardinals who are just going into the workspace looking to find work, this is a time where it asks you to write out your own proposals, write out your own, however that budget talk may be for you, that finance talk may be for you before you come into this space. So you don't feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like you have to subscribe to something that doesn't really align to your truth, to your integrity, your sense of work ethic. So it's going to be that basis there with Aquarius energy.
So all signs, let's get into the all signs forecast. So guys, this is the part where we're going to be getting into the all signs. We're going to be breaking down by each rising sign. Feel free to listen for your rising, sun, and moon, but most accurately for your rising, I would say. So let's start with Aries. So let me just remove this really quickly and I'm gonna put you up. Perfect. So let's start with Aries rising. What can Aries rising expect for Aries sun, moon, and rising? What can they expect for the upcoming month of January?
So Aries, the energy sits in your 10th house. Now, Aries, it's such a big month for you in January. The energy that is in your highest part of the chart. Now, your career, your future self. Now, it's about starting programs for you, Aries, graduating in certain capacities, Aries, especially since some of you have been working towards these certifications or these new shifts of identity, career, highest self since 2022. Now, since this energy does square you, it will ask you where you're moving a little too fast. Now, it's not about your work ethic. It's not about the things that you, where something's wrong with you. It's just more about timing. So January asks you to cultivate patience and knowing that your hard work won't go in vain. Now, this can open up delays in your path and where you might have to center more into April, your new year, your birthday, into why this is when the journey starts for you and seeing this path more clearly. But this month this energy does square you, Capricorn. And Saturn is fall in Aries. So it's a month that does ask you to slow down in certain capacities. This can be in relationships. This can be how you initiate self. This can be in just where in the future, do I still want to keep this type of momentum, this type of drive in the future? Are these the choices that I'll still want to align with? Am I going way past than what I'm ready for? It's not that I can't handle it, but am I mentally ready for it? It's just asking you that in January. Now in January, it does get better as we move into the later parts of the month because Aquarius does sextile you, air and fire. But the early parts can still be about cultivating that patience. But later, as we get into January, February, we'll open up more of that. Okay, now I'm back on my same pace. Right now, in the season, it could be about slowing down in some way. I'm talking about slowing down. Taurus. Taurus, this is in your 9th house. Time to expand your horizons, Taurus. Jupiter's going direct the 30th. So it's asking you to open up yourself to the bigger picture and how you could be a little closed-minded. Now, since early September and late August, it could have been hard for you to get into new things, new prospects. You could have just felt like, I'd rather just be comfortable, stay in what's comfortable. Well, now as we move into Capricorn season, it's a trine. It opens up more where we need to just go more on faith, trust that everything's going to be okay, and maybe even rely on our community. Now, it's also asking us to have more faith of the people around us, even our most intimate connections. The last few months, we could have been questioning, are we really supported here? Do we really feel that we're needed or we need to be in this space? Well, this month, they'll ask you where you are hoarding these feelings, hoarding these thoughts, and need to share them. Important news comes for you in general by the end of this month of December into early January, since Jupiter goes direct. So just like the other fixed signs, you're waiting for some news as well. You're waiting for some sort of contract, something to end, something to begin, but where it opens up more of this paperwork for you as well. And it's also about really communicating with our intimate connections and having an open mind to things this month. Now, since Jupiter, just want to censor this as well, Jupiter is going direct the 30th. So right before January 1st, so right a few days before that January 1st energy. Some of you are planning some trips. Maybe not for now, but it is very important for fixed energies to plan a luxurious, well-invested, relaxing trip, excursion in some way. Gemini, the sun is an intimate house. It's a very intimate house, the house of connections, the most intimate connections. The energy's in your 8th house. So Gemini energy, yep. The energy sitting in your 8th house. Now, since Capricorn here is not the most comfortable, because Capricorn and Gemini energy don't really understand each other. It's air and earth. Now, Saturn also brings a final basis here, a discipline. Now, since it's in intimate settings, Gemini, where do we feel like there's something final going on in our most intimate relationships? Where this is it. It's over. I'm done. It's even asking you where you might even have to speak to an elder, someone older who has more experience, just to really make sure you're done, that this is really final. You might also feel like it's kind of hard for you to work through this. That it's now going towards, and this is for all energies since we're in a cardinal transit, Aries North Node, Libra South Node. Where are you just disrespecting me? Where am I disrespecting you? Where don't we no longer respect each other? And Gemini, this is sitting in the most intimate one. So the people we date, sleep with, are the energies that we're really close to, our bestest and bestest of friends, our closest of sibling. Where do we feel like both of us need to mature in, grow up in, or are growing up in? And since cardinal energies, and for cardinal specifically, where it's also questioning your faith. Like, do we believe in the same things? What God? Who's our discipline? What makes us stay in line? Geminis are looking at these themes in January within their intimate partnerships. Do we believe in the same things? Do I see something long-term with you? What do we need to finalize this year? What's the end? We have grown out of it when it comes to this intimate setting, the people we sleep with. Also, since the energy is in the house of resources, how we gain resources outside of ourselves, this can also be a placement for Gemini as well, where leaving jobs, realizing we're at our wits' end with certain jobs, really be conscious of where we're falling into debt that can become long-term because of this. So just conscious of why we feel so final or at the ending of so many things in our life, especially in how we share and extend ourselves resourcefully and intimately. Saturn is also squaring you. So for mutables right now, a lot of you feel like you're in a fog. Can't really see too clearly within a few things.
I just wanted to say sorry for the delay with the chart. It was not coming up on my end, so, but it worked out. You ready for Cancer?
Yeah.
And feel free to talk about a couple of transits too, for each sign too.
You really want, yeah, centering just that, for all mutables, the energy of like just Saturn's either squaring, opposing, or conjunct you. And it's in Piscean, which is the 12th house, a hermit, shadow period, energy of working on shadow work, feeling more off grid, and also feeling like where you've been hidden. So mutables can feel this way throughout the year, especially throughout this transit, especially the ones that are being squared, Gemini and Sagittarius. I just need to get clearer on what I'm doing, what's going on. That just opens up for Gemini this month, this January season, in their most intimate settings, their 8th house, their intimate settings and within relationships, 8th house, and finances, loans, things that could fall into debt, what they're subscribed to, what they got to pay monthly, and where they're realizing, okay, things have to be final. I no longer want to do this. I no longer can't do this, or this is no longer, can no longer subscribe to this. So with Cancer energy, Cancer is in the 7th. Cancer energy, the sun is transiting in your 7th house. Cancer, we're in your house of partnerships. Now, this is all partnerships. 8th house is the most intimate. So it's a platonic, so a sexual house. Whereas 7th house is all family, friends, work. Now, since there's a Saturn energy here, there could be a blast from the past. So Cancer and Capricorn, so even the opposition, some of you may be having some return lovers, return friends, catching up, family members we haven't seen in a while. Some of you can have to come home just within the last 2 months since October. That's also a time where it's opening up, like we spoke about before, where Saturn transits can be a big shift for like the elders or the boomer generation to have like a major point of like a good chunk of them transitioning. Well, the Cancer and Capricorn dominants can just be in touch or feeling like they need to be in touch with more of their ancestors right now, ancestral energy right now. So Cancer, where do you feel like you need to get in touch with your grandparents and even your childhood, nostalgic feelings at this moment as well? Now, since the energy is transiting your 7th house, it always asks you to be considerate of others. And whenever you're a cardinal, where you may be a one time and you're out type of person, where you can be a little critical, where you can where they can also be a basis with cardinal, where they can be a little bossy. But this month asks you that. Just in the basis of, is my direction your direction as well? And how we need to be considerate of how other people may have their own direction. And how that centers our most personal space, especially for Cancer. What's the most personal? Our home. That basis there. It's also a month that asks you, since it's in the 7th house, how we are projecting ourselves, how people view us. Are we coming off too sensitive? Are we coming off too reserved within our sensitive, where we're cold? So it opens up others, but definitely a nostalgic feeling within that basis as well, especially for Capricorn and Cancer. Old people are popping up. Leo. Leo, since the energy is in the energy is in Capricorn, the first part of the month, it does seem a little slow. Like we spoke before, we're still waiting on acknowledgments, letters, proposals, just spaces of where we can get back on our feet in some way or find more security in some way. So the first part of the month will seem slow. But as we move towards the 20th of January, when we come into Aquarius season, your opposition, you start to get a push of things. Remember, a lot of you are waiting for acknowledgement in those themes. So just be conscious of, what do I want first before I jump into getting things and working? Because fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, have to be conscious of where they work in desperation, or they do things in desperation. Now, since this is a 6th house energy, it's the house of routines. This may ask you during this month where once we get this job, once we get this contract, how it throws off our schedule. Maybe even goes in between the things that we want to do for fun, like our creative classes, vacations we want to take, times where we want to hang out with the kids, times when we want to hang out with our partner, and how these jobs, contracts, and just this need to feel secured is maybe getting in the way, throwing these things off. So Saturn asks you to focus on that. And this is naturally for the energy of Leo as well, where they balance out fun time and family time. So the first part of the month seems slow here. Might even seem like this is the time where I center on family, where I get all the time in with you, because as we move into the later parts of this month, I'm going to have to center back to me. Virgo, the energy is sitting in your 5th house. That's the house of fun. It's asking you where you are not allowing yourself to have fun. Virgo, we can be in a space of perfectionism, where we always have to stay responsible in order, or we feel like if we have too much fun, where it can become a vice and escapism. Well, this month wants you to center having fun, going into pleasure, not feeling like you need to be restricted in this space. It can even be asking you to take breaks, stop a habit, stop a routine, walk away from something, hide out for a little bit so you can have more of this fun. It seems like you're realizing how much work and responsibilities have prioritized over pleasure. It could even be putting you in a space of Piscean where you want to run away. Virgo and Pisceans this year, since 2023, can be feeling like they need to run away, escape, or have been floating in some capacity. Just like all the mutables, but specifically for them. So this energy wants to center that. And even if it means we have to be a little bit low key, not even let anyone know what we're doing, it's still very important that we center that. Center our inner child. And even in spaces where, since this is our 5th house and where we procreate, where our children might be taking on our habits of not being able to express themselves and have fun and really center that self-esteem. And why you may need to take that first step and initiate it so everyone else can. But January really opens up for that for you. And since Saturn has been in Pisces, where we need to take a break, walk away, run away, go away, so we can experience more of that self. Just before we go into Libra, just want to center the placements like you were saying before. Saturn is in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces. This is opposing you, Virgo. Just want to give just a closeness to Virgo energy, because their mental health can be very sensitive right now, maybe in spaces where they feel like they need to forgive self so they can forgive what they've procreated, where they need to center even more of that inner self-criticism within each themselves and others around them. There's just a need to really see myself for who I am and what's really wrong. So it's just very sensitive time for them, Virgo and Pisceans, where they might need to check out, to check back in some way. Just really want to center that. Libra, the sun is in your 4th house. That means there's a few things going on the home front that needs you to get needs you to get it in order. There's something undisciplined there. This is a square. It's making you feel like there's a long-term plan you had that really needed to change around July and also October. So even around your birthday. The home front is in a space of friction. You feel like there's an undisciplined energy. You feel that there's energy that's not really showing you the longevity that you want. And maybe even putting you in a space where you feel like you have to compromise or disrespect yourself. Now, this could also be asking you if you want to upgrade your home. And if you're in a relationship, upgrade your home because we're upgrading our family. But there is a basis of needing to bring new beginnings, new understandings to the home front. You need to align where I stand and you stand. Libra energy is always big on, we need to make a choice and make a decision on something. Now, since this is a square here, and also Pluto is at critical degrees, which would be energy that's squaring you as well, where there could be a theme of needing to purge something on the home front. Kill it off. It's dead here. We no longer can do this, or there's a way we no longer can be together. For certain Libras, some of you can really be walking away from a connection, a job, an area that you thought you would have aligned with for long term. So this has been a personal time for you, Libra, since we moved into the nodes, July. In January, and just like for all cardinals, new beginnings, new start, in ways where it's almost impossible to ignore. And like I've spoken before in other in our last forecast, when this was in Libra's, when the sun was in Libra's 3rd house, where we are double-minded, where we feel like we might even be in a 2-timing energy, indecisive, that can make us feel like we have to code switch in certain ways. It's time to really come full force to that, because now it's coming into our home front. It's getting real personal now. Scorpio, we want to take our gifts and our ideas on a deeper level. Scorpio, the sun is transiting your 3rd house. Some of you can be questioning your abilities and skill set and might need a mental push or a mental challenge to prove it to yourself, prove it to others that you're really good at what you do. You might even want to take more of an initiative to Saturn your gifts. So even going into the spaces like the other cardinals, where you want to go to school, get a certificate, get some sort of basis where I take something creative and make it more practical into the real world. And that can make, and that could be help you more of what this 3rd house is about, not questioning or second guessing what you're good at, what you know you're good at. So you want to find ways to prove yourself that you are enough. You want to also dive into more creative spaces that also build more your capabilities. And also, since this is the 3rd house energy of Gemini, that's about the twins, so other people. but close. So our early upbringing. It actually be considerate, but considerate of childhood friends, siblings, in some sort of capacity. A close one might need you or need your mental assistant, and they might need your words of wisdom in some way. Try not to be judgmental, Scorpio, or cold towards them, especially if you may feel like, back to Capricorn, this is an old issue. This is a redundant issue. We've talked about this already. Try to be more considerate and conscious of how they can be questioning themselves, second guessing themselves, and how this may be an underlying issue more than what's on the surface, since Gemini can be a little superficial where people may be indirect with how they're saying things. Work on you being very direct and asking them to be direct, especially since you're a natural psychologist anyway, Scorpio. Now, this time there is seriousness, since Saturn is here. A seriousness where they want to change this long-term issue and they want your advice. And this will be towards your third house connections, childhood friends, people you speak on an everyday basis, just themes where it's, I need your advice now. Everyday basis, but with a long-term issue. Since Saturn opens up, this is something that we've been even dealing with since the past. It's very important since this energy does sextile you, so it's a good space. The house is just uncomfortable, third house, because it's an energy that's where you're trying to prove to yourself that you're good enough. You're trying to work on where you're right and you're not wrong, and these thoughts that you don't invalidate your thoughts. This is a month that's asking you to work on that. And maybe it asks you to challenge yourself, go into creative challenges, creative pursuits to prove to you this innate feeling of, am I mentally good enough? Not good enough, good enough, those themes. Sagittarius. The sun energy is transiting your second house. Now, since the sun sits in your second house, it's not always the best transit because this is an earth energy and you are a fire energy. And Taurus energy that also is the second house, which is connected to Taurus, is also an energy that doesn't always connect as well with you, aspect you as well. Since Sagittarius can be grand, larger than life. And Taurus may ask you, hey, before we do all these big plans, can you afford it? And that's what this month can be asking you, Sagittarius. We got all these plans, but what can we afford at the moment? What can we actually give? So all the things that that you own and where you feel like there's a block there, where you feel like there's a block in getting what you want, and where we might even need more discipline there, more initiative and more long-term planning. And in the second house themes, the cash that we have on hand, because second house will ask you, what's in your checking account? What's in your savings account? What's in your wallet? What's in your purse? As we walk into Scorpio energy, 8th house and 11th house, that acts as you more of the shared resources you can get. So that's what it's asking you this month, Sagittarius. What's the cash that you have on hand, the resources that you have on hand that needs to be a little bit more disciplined? Where are we biting off more than we can chew? And where does it need to be disciplined? Where do we need to slow down? Just all for all fire. Just like we said with Aries, slow down. Just like we said with Libra, balance out and slow down on balance out our routine, slow down in one department so we can balance out the other department when it comes to our everyday routines. Because earth energy is always going to slow down everything, especially fire, which is blazing. So this month it can make you a little self-conscious, the early parts of it. Now again, Mercury does go direct on the 1st in Sag. So it does open up more of a clearer thinking, seeking more advisement, even if things don't always go as planned. But this month it does act, especially during Capricorn season, where do we need to slow down and really look at our cash resources on hand and figure out how we can be a little bit more responsible there, have more integrity there, put more longevity there. Capricorn. Capricorn, the sun is in your first house. New look, new me. Transiting the first house, that means we're in your birthday energy. Happy solar return. Now, Capricorn, since Pluto is at its last leg, January is a big anticipation for you. January is just like with all the Capricorns, many of you are returning to this school. If this is not the message, this is the message. If it's not returning to school, then the energy is, how do I make things more practical? How do I grow up? How do I feel like more mature? How do I make more sense of this? Another thing, since Pluto energy, since Pluto being in Capricorn is a nostalgic energy, Capricorns, why are we having to return back home? Take a stint back home. Why does family need us at this moment? And why are we also being close to this ancestral energy like Cancer, where we're getting close to where we need to be close to our ancestors, our grandparents, our family line? Now, Capricorn, we're also looking back at that 2008 to 2012 period. Why is this important for you, Capricorn? Why does this January mean that we're done with this period, or we're now coming back to this period where many of you are coming back to things that are 15 years plus, 10 years plus, and finally finishing? Like we were speaking before, it's a long time coming. It's a past energy, a nostalgic energy that I now feel new in. This is connected to this to you, Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, just like we were speaking last month within the Sagittarius season, how it could be a little gloom, doom before our birthday, moody, just like Cancer. Huge anticipation, but not too sure on what we want to do, because it's based on where we feel like we are in life, based on milestones. Well, Capricorn, it may feel like even if we do come into this unto our accomplishments next month, into certain types of graduation periods next month, we might still have to postpone our birthday. Some of you may feel like you have to go back into that April energy. So just like that, just like the other cardinals, and really center your new year then. January is just too busy for all of you. January is still planning things out, still working on what we were trying to balance in July and October, the cardinal months. But this is a solar return. This is your first house energy. And since Pluto is finally leaving Capricorn, this is a year where you feel like you're going to give yourself a big break, or we're coming into breakthroughs in our life, especially since those periods. So this is a birthday where we want to celebrate it, or we want to be more intentional, even if it's not right now. Aquarius, let me see if, yeah, perfect. Aquarius, the sun is in your 12th house. Aquarius, this is your hermit mode month, right before your birthday. So it's time to get into our last minute plans. And also, since you're a fixed signs, what can I even afford for my birthday? And also, since you're an air sign, who do I even want around for my birthday? So we're in our 12th house month, we're trying to figure out how we're going to come about into our solar return. Now, Aquarius this month speaks similar to the themes of Leo, looking for gigs, more structure of work, and especially better benefits. Now, since it is a 12th house, where Leo could be a little bit more definite, they're in their 6th house, where they're like, I put this application, I put in this at this time, I should be getting it at this time, or even starting to get their acknowledgments early, as of right now. Aquarius is still in a little bit of fog, waiting. Some Aquariuses, since we're in the 12th house, could have just lost a job, left a job, or just been in spaces where they are floating through some sort of entrepreneurial or workspace. But they're still waiting for this break. So it could come in ways whereas Leo's a little bit more definite on when they're looking for, where Aquarius can have something that they're like, oh, I didn't even think I was going to get it, and I got it, type of feeling. Oh, wow. Oh, I put in this a few months ago. Thanks for okay, now I have an opportunity to see if I want to take initiative towards this, where it's not as definite. Because Aquarius is a big entrepreneurial sign. So they might have an innate feeling where, why am I even putting out applications when I don't even want to work for people? So it could be one of those themes since we're in the 12th house. Aquariuses are also trying to figure out what is actually creative about them. They're doing really deep soul searching right now. Because a lot of them could operate in more of a survival mindset, where I just got to get it going. These are deep hustlers, Aquarius, where they can be in multiple streams at once, different gigs at once, and not really centering their creative center. They're the most detached from the most creative sign, Taurus, or self-expressive sign, Taurus. So right now they're really diving into that, especially when it comes into Pluto. When since Pluto is coming into their sign, where they're like, all right, in 10, 15, since Pluto's a huge generational sign, what would I really want to do, be known for, operate in? So they're doing real deep soul searching, Aquarius energy. Trying to figure out, what do I like? What communities do I fit in? Many of them can even be having shifts with friends, especially since it's a hermit mode, where they may feel like, I don't really want to hang out in these spaces, be in these networks anymore, or I've been casted out of these networks. So really diving into their creative center is important for Aquarius. They might even have to go back to their teen years, at like high school, after high school, around 18 to 24, around those years. And what was the shift into why they've detached from their creative self? A deep soul searching placement right now for Aquarius placements. And what am I really good at?
Yay, we're here at Pisces.
Yay! How you feeling? Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm chilling.
I'm probably asking myself that, not really you. Pisces.
For those of you guys, I just want to say, for those of you guys who are here, if you have any questions, since we're at Pisces, we're going to talk about one other subject, and feel free to put things in the chat if you guys want to. So someone said that our Aquarius reading was on point.
Thank you. Thank you for your confirmations.
Go ahead.
So Pisces, the sun is in your 11th house. It does a sextile to your sun. This is the time of groups, communities, and networks. But it's asking you, if I'm not staying in this environment, if I don't even know if I'm staying here, if I even want to live here long term, do I really want to commit to these people, places, or things? You might feel like you might need to ghost, leave behind some friend groups, especially if you're feeling like you're going to experience long-term travel anyway. Pisces, it feels like you're coming and going, and this might impact your routines. And maybe you're indirectly not communicating or hanging out with these people anymore, these communities anymore. especially since a lot of Pisces can feel like they're coming out of their shadows. They're finally being who they are. They're showcasing them, especially since Pisces opposes Virgo, themselves more physically, seeing more of my style, my self-expression, who I am. Because Pisces can be chameleons. This is a period where we are figuring out where we no longer want to be a chameleon. Saturn's on you. Let's say, come out and play. This could be impacting the friend groups where you're like, you know what? Maybe when I was hiding and I was being more a chameleon or more service oriented, I wanted to be friends with you. I wanted to be friends here and part of this community. Now I don't. This could be a feeling that Pisceans may have been feeling since 2023, the top of the year, where they no longer are spiritually in this area, in this community. They've tapped out, checked out, just like I was speaking with Virgo. And since this energy is nostalgic, Pisceans can be experienced blasts from the past, people popping up in dreams. That's also a center here as well. That can be asking them to come into this area of community that shifts from this community that they're in, meaning that maybe a blast from the past is going to really shift their entire life plan, family plan, and bring them into a whole new trajectory. But we are centering, leaving groups, communities, areas that we thought we would have done every day for the rest of our lives, and now going elsewhere, wanting to go elsewhere. There's a deep wanderlust in Piscean placements, and also coming out to be my true self in Piscean placements, where even these groups, these networks that you're in are like, we don't know who you are anymore, Pisces. And that could be what's happening. Saturn is in Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces. So Pisces, just like with these generational planets coming into Aquarius and it just leaving Capricorn, the last three signs are really going through deep, deep spiritual regeneration, rebirth from Capricorn, Aquarius to Pisces.
Thank you so much, Umi. Guys, if you had any confirmations tonight, just put it down in the chat. Thank you for always going through so much sun. Yeah, it's perfect. It's like direct, it's sweet, it's concise, but there's still so much in there. I'm not sure if you're saying if we already did Aries, but yes, we did. You can go back on the stream. Go back to maybe around like 45 minutes. You guys are welcome. Umi, before we go, we actually finished early today. But before we go, with me, there's no finishing early. We're going to use up all the minutes. Is there anything else that you want to say to the signs? Any message that you want to leave with them for the beginning of the year? Floor is yours.
Since the energy is in Aries North Node, Libra South Node, just really important with this transit and aligning with people that make sure we operate in self-respect. This is just important for the cardinals, but for the collective. It's not even about us being together for a long term. It's not even about us working together well. Do I feel like you respect who I am and I respect who you are? Aries energy is asking even a lot of the most intimate of intimacy where they have to find autonomy, independence, my owning. Also, as we come into this Aquarius placement, just for the collective, where we need to become more open-minded and love in relationships and family building. Why does the idea of the nuclear family need to change? And that's just going to be important for Aquarius. Also, with Aquarius energy coming into play, we need villages. So all you Aquarius placements, all you Scorpio placements, start getting your daycares back up. Start getting your boys and girls, start getting these after school programs, these parent and child family building programs going, because they're going to need you guys next. Because even now with working from home, it ain't working out. We thought it was
It
going
is
to work out
not.
working from home, but it ain't working out.
It's not. It is not.
That's going to be
So
very
many parents are saying this right now. Like, it's crazy.
Another thing I want to bring into play with Aquarius energy, with this Aquarius basis and Jupiter coming into Gemini. So a trine, new teachers, new curriculums. So all those, those teachers that are going out there, those educators that are going out there, and who want to add more of a creative flair, a holistic flair to their work, right? This is the time. Now, again, we're just coming into this transit. It's a long transit, Pluto. So we're going to need some time. We're going to also need maybe even Uranus to come into Gemini. So about 2025. Also Neptune and Saturn to come into Aries. So we could even come into this new world order, that basis there. So we're back to the late 90s as we come into Y&2K. So they're turning 30. So we're going to need that energy to aspects, but at least start now. And a lot of you already have had the push that even though I'm gifted in this spiritual creative realm, it needs more structure. So this is going to be very important for the alternative teachers, alternative practitioners, as well with Pluto and Aquarius. Now with Pluto and Aquarius, the crypto people, crypto, this energy is going to come back in some way because energy just repeats. Nothing is new underneath the sun. So with Pluto, if Saturn and Aquarius went off for crypto or NFT, all that energy there, that means Pluto and Aquarius wants to touch back on it in some way. So hold your horses on letting all your crypto go and it's no longer valuable. Just leave it there. I'm not telling you invest more, but leave it there because Aquarius still wants to talk about it. Because remember when Pluto first came into Aquarius in early 2023, where we were talking about the drop of the dollar, BRICS. That has to come back. We have to start talking about it again. So what are we going to do now if we have to change the currency, the monetary values? We're going to need something. So maybe a new understanding of digital money, digital. But hold your horses there because we got to return to it in some way.
I feel like something is definitely gonna pop off right before Uranus shifts. Like when it's at that 29 degree, because I feel like whenever we hitting that 29 degree, shit just starts popping off. Same thing with like Pluto and Capricorn 29 degree. It's like almost gives you this feeling of like, okay, we gotta do it's like now or never. So maybe by the time Uranus goes is about to switch, it's gonna be fucking fully implemented. But yeah, I need crypto to be a thing. We're holding. Thanks for that. Anything else for the Pluto and Aquarius?
Pluto and Aquarius is investor placement. But I'm going to push it into Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, but also Neptunian energy, since that's coming into its last leg too, as well. There is going to be like a health scare or a health theme. It's like I said earlier, it could center like the elders, so the boomer, because they're the Pluto and Leo. So there could be a time, or let me push it in this way, in Neptunian energy, where investing into healthcare, investing into those types of stocks, investing into maybe more health products. It's as if we're going to need another time where, you remember that with Saturn energy being in Aquarius, also the nodes being immutable and Jupiter coming into Piscean. So around that 2020 to 21, there was a big push of getting toilet paper, Lysol, things like that. So there is another push of that. We're getting into household products and getting into healthcare, where it would have been, if you would have got into stocks around the pandemic earlier into like healthcare programs, your shit would have went up, because around that time we needed vaccines. If you would have went into stocks for that or investments into that, any types of healthcare programs, especially the ones that were given the vaccines, if you went into those types of themes. So this is that as well, where there's going to be another push of healthcare products, necessities, because that's what Piscean is about. Pisces and Virgo, the things we need on an everyday schedule, the things we need emergence.
What's the timeline you said for that? I didn't think I catch that.
where as we move into Pluto and Aquarius, so as we move into 2024, we're opening up more of the financial talks.
Okay.
But this is also a transit, and even for the Aquariuses right now, where they're even looking at healthcare, life insurance policies, just as much as you're looking at it in your everyday life. This is also a energy that you can invest in as well, because it's going to be a high investment point for the collective. Healthcare products, new types of laws towards healthcare, maybe new types of brands. Like, think about how we're going into types of gender surgery changes, or reproductive type of procedures, and how it's more expansive in that. Well, if you want to be ahead of the game, look towards things in the future that would help with women who want to go towards a different route with reproductive health, things towards maybe medicine, supplements, towards maybe gender changing, or hormone changing, things like that will become great things to invest in for the next few years, especially since they're going to become popular in no time.
Well, I was about to ask you if when Pluto goes into Aquarius, because I know we did a live like way back when, like on Instagram, we talked about how Pluto and Aquarius would bring back this kind of like Black economics, or like this Black Wall Street. If you can just touch on that briefly. I know we're gonna go deeper in February when after Pluto goes into Aquarius. I know we're going to go deeper in Patreon, but if you can just give us a little tea on that. What do you still think that that's going to happen? Do you still think that we're going to have some sort of financial talk, or just maybe us bringing resources together as a community? Like, how do you see Pluto and Aquarius affecting the Black community?
Definitely what you said with us as a community, where even companies, we want to sponsor certain issues because it's connected to race or politics. Because that's what Saturn and Capricorn opened up, and Saturn and Aquarius opened up. Black-owned businesses, buy Black, support a Black business, especially started 2017 and on, and it was huge during the pandemic. Saturn and Aquarius, so Pluto and Aquarius is going to want to center these as well. But Aquarius is also all people of color, all genres, since it's there. So that's going to be another thing too, where we want to now bring funding to more of all people of color who underrepresented,
all the underdogs,
all the underdogs. So that energy as well. And since Capricorn always has to come first before Aquarius, Black people are always going to be, or melanated people are always going to be first in line. And then, because it's always like, even anytime Capricorn is first, it's the people of color, that Black people that have to start this revolution in some way, and then everyone else comes behind. And they're like, okay, we're going to subscribe, or we're going to come into this. That's even with Black Lives Matter. And then when it came into a little bit after, and sorry, I don't want to misquote, but it was against Asian hate. But it was an Asian theme that came very close to Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that they didn't have their own thing going on, but it is a push. And a lot of other cultures have said this, where the civil rights movement has been a huge focus for a lot of other Black liberations, even currently modern. Of course, if we go into history and we go to Haiti and all of that, but modern civil rights, American segregation, American history in those spaces is a huge center for a lot of other countries when it comes to protests, revolting, like that kind of, like, especially protests there. So yeah, but definitely it's going to center people of color. It's going to center, when you come into Aquarius energy, it's where it's more accessible. And that's where people of color are always blocked. They don't have that accessibility. Aquarius wants to open up accessibility. Aquarius is internet. So as long as you have a phone, you're accessing to Wi-Fi, you can access this. And that's why it's Saturn and Aquarius was so phenomenal for Black people. They were able to just fill out an application online. Rather, if they had went into the location, it could have been a different story if they had maybe walked into the bank and asked this loan, and no, do it over the computer and ask. So the internet is phenomenal in just helping all people around the world get resources.
I hope we get free internet. Maybe not right away, but you know, Pluto's in Aquarius for 20 years. So because you were saying like if you have a phone and internet, but some people, some spaces can't even access fully like the Wi-Fi yet. So hopefully you get free internet.
You're onto something because it was well over here. So I was like in New York. So it was during the pandemic that I started to see Wi-Fi in train stations, Wi-Fi on the bus. So you're right. You're onto it. You're right. So where it's just more accessible. Like this is like all over New York City where you might not even need a phone plan anymore.
Yeah, no, it's true. When I was there, I could use my I could use the Wi-Fi the whole entire time. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like when Uranus goes into Gemini and then Pluto's still gonna be on the top of Aquarius, they're gonna trine, right? Yes? Yeah, they're gonna trine. Yeah. I just feel like we're just entering a whole new world, like mechanical, technological. Like I just feel like a boom is gonna happen and we're just gonna turn around like, are we in the future? I just feel like that's the feeling that's coming. And then we have all of these big transits like Neptune going into Aries. So I just feel like, honestly, like you said, a whole new freaking world is coming where it's just like, these are the things that we kind of thought, like when we were young, we were like dreaming of it and we're like, oh my God, it's here. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again so much, Umi. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, check out the Patreon for the next 4 Thursdays. We're going to be going live in the Patreon and we're going to be doing the 2024 forecast for all signs for the first quarter of 2024. All signs, and every single week one lucky member is going to be chosen and have their chart read live. You guys are going to be able to ask questions, vote on our next upcoming videos. I see someone here asking about soulmates or spouses for all the signs. We literally just, if you go back one video from this one, we literally just did a video on that, Juno and Jupiter in the signs and what it tells you about your spouse. So, and if you're in our Patreon, these are the type of things that you guys can request. You guys can request videos on career, on spouse, on Jupiter, on whatever, and we're always going to take in consideration when we are doing those videos. So make sure to get into the Patreon. The price is still very low to get into the Patreon right now. It's 40% off, I think, and you get 40% off all sessions till January 4th. So that is next Thursday, guys. Make sure to get in. I know a lot of people last minute. Don't be emailing, don't be DMing after. You have till January 4th. And we can't wait to continue to build this community with you. Umi has been telling me for the longest, like she just wants to be with her community. And I'm happy that we can truly have a space like even this where we talk to you guys. We see who's really down, who's really here all the time. Patreon is just going to be deeper and more chill. You guys are just gonna get to know us on a real intimate basis. So happy to have you guys here. So happy to have you here, Umi, as always. Your knowledge is phenomenal. And I can't wait for us to continue and just delve deeper and have more fun. And I know both of us want to mix in the creativity and do artists and do music and like dissect them and everything. So I just can't wait for all of that. But for that, we need you guys in the Patreon. So come here.
And thank you as always for allowing me to showcase this on the Growth Project. Thank you to each and every one of you for your confirmations, contributions. And I love y'all. Thank you for changing my life every single day. Love y'all. See y'all next month.
See y'all next week in the Patreon. Yeah, you're right. See y'all next month for the February forecast. Good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.
thank you guys so much for joining another episode. I'm always so happy to see so many of you. Thank you for all the new people here. I'm happy to see new people. Go check out our latest videos, the Jupiter and Juno one. It's been doing so well, and we have a lot of positive comments on it. So definitely go check that out. And you guys will be having a new episode out on the Growth Project podcast this Friday as well. Well, tomorrow. So definitely look for that out as well. So thank you guys so much and have a good night. Bye.